Good morning everybody, it is January and we are recording our first Tales from the Pot. We will be demoulding some dice today. I have a commission that I've been working on that I will be demoulding. But first I just wanted to show you a few other bits that we've been making in the meantime. So we bought a little square mould for making sort of diorama type things. Now I'd experimented with this before and used some of this, which is spare bits of resin. So when you get a lot of flashing on the sides or droplets and stuff, you can kind of scoop them up, cut them into pieces, especially when they're soft, and stick them in a pot. So we did one that had green bits in the bottom, and this one here we've done with some of the pink bits that were in the bottom there. Also got some of these little flowers off of a card, and I'd found these as well up in my craft stash, so I decided to see if I could put some of those in there and see how that went. Pouring very slowly in, put the little bits of resin in the bottom first, and then wait until that sort of settled a bit before I put the flowers in. Ah, that's really cute. This bit here, this is a piece of leftover resin that was like it was in the bottom of a dish, and I hoiked it out, and it's kind of pearlescent, but it looked a bit like a sort of a moon shape. So I put that in. The glue on the back of the flower there, I hadn't anticipated that was going to be visible. I thought that would just kind of blend in a bit, but it didn't. So that's something we need to get rid of in the future. And obviously you can see the down here where the wire is from these, so that's something we need to think about in the future. As this was kind of curing, there's quite a few bubbles and stuff coming up to the top, and then I had just a little bit of kind of glitzy that you can see on the top just there, that I just dropped in just on top of the flower, so that just in front of the flower would be the glitzy stuff, but not through the entire thing. And like sort of spores coming off of it, I suppose, or like I don't know, pollen or something. But that's come out really nicely. I'm really pleased with that. That's really cute. So this will be like a little, well, it's a diorama obviously, but it will be like a little paperweight or something, I guess. And experimenting with more of that in the future, I hope. I didn't use a deep pour resin. I used my regular Wonder Heart resin that I got off of Amazon. And the mould, I can't quite remember where I got that from. Probably someone on Etsy, but I found also where you get dice in these little boxes, they're quite handy for keeping little things in like that. So that's where they stay, in that little box. We've also made, so this is a photo frame. Now this one here is from Supplies Studio, and this is like a nail powder as well, so it comes with like a little applicator brush, which for most of you, you've probably seen things like this with makeup and stuff. It works pretty well for coating things with, like this. So I'm not entirely sure how this goes together. That's gonna require a bit of figuring out, but I painted, well, I say painted, I used the brush and the stuff there to kind of put on the inside of the mould first. Then I poured some resin in. So I've poured a couple of different colours in here. Wow, crikey, that is sparkly. Look at that. That's really cool. And so I poured this in first, and it's got a slight colour to it. Obviously, this needs a little bit cleaning up. And then poured around the rest of the outside. Oh, that is really shiny. Wow. And the back here comes as a separate piece. Now, it was attached here, as you can probably tell. But the problem with that is that it's not level with the rest of the mould, meaning that when it's full it would do this, it would bend. Now these things up here, they're too small for that to worry about, but I wanted this to be filled evenly, not, overbalanced at one end. So yeah, that's presumably that's the, oh, there we go. So it goes on the front. Probably should have done that in just clear. Wasn't sure where that was supposed to go, if that was meant to go on the back or not. Maybe it does go on the back, I don't know. I'm guessing that goes on the front. The supplier of this did not indicate that at all. So, and if that does go on the front, then that's great, but it means the photo frame is then open to the back. Maybe it's meant to face that way. I'm not sure. Who knows? We also got these little twiddly bits, which, again, not entirely sure where they're supposed to go, and even if they did go here, that wouldn't make much sense because that's not going to hold it on. I thought it would have been more likely to go on the back, but then they won't close. There was no actual pictures or reviews from anybody who had bought this, so I might contact the seller and say, hey, how do you put this together? I mean, that seems the most logical because it does fit in there, but then my piece is coloured. So what would be the point of these? Are you supposed to stick it down or what? I don't know. But then how would you get the photo in? Or you're supposed to do two and put another one on the back. I don't know. Or if anybody has this mould, please let me know. But yeah, I wanted to see how the powder came out on there, and it is extremely shiny. I'm very pleased with how that came out, and actually the mould after doing that is pretty clean. So the resin has lifted all of that off, so it looks pretty nice actually. The next bit that we have is the same thing again, but in these little moulds. Like this, you've seen these before. And they look really cool. And then I think I did a similar thing with the D20 keyring mould, which again you've seen before, but this was just kind of had some leftover resin, needed to use it up, so that's what we did with that. Alright, what else have we got over here? So these are the dice that I have been making. Now there was a commission that I've done, which is this one, and then some chonks, also one of them is a commission. Now you can see here I've used corn, yellow and black, which was what was requested. So let's have a look. They did remind me of wasps when I was making them. So let's see if we can get them out and have a look. They are a present for somebody, I believe. The person I'm making them for is giving them as a present, I should say. And they specifically requested them to be yellow and black. So there's some interesting things going on here. Every time I poured in some black, I kept thinking, oh gosh, there's not going to be enough yellow visible. So I used more yellow, and subsequently they're very yellow. But I gathered that that these are favourite colours of the person that they are a gift for. So hopefully these are what he was hoping for. I don't know. These are they're interesting though. I'll give them that. Very interesting. And then we've got some nice flashing here that we'll be able to chop up and maybe recycle, reuse somehow. So we used clear resin in here with the corn, yellow and the black. They're definitely interesting. I'm not sure what colour I'm going to ink them in. But yeah, they are as requested. There we go. Wasp dice. Well, I think they remind me of wasps, so they probably remind everyone of wasps now. You're never going to get away from that. The chonk is in the same style, in these same colours, but I also did another chonk using this stuff, which is from Resin Art Supplies. I've used them before. I've ordered a few bits from them before, and I'm also trying some of this pigment, which is not alcohol ink. It's slightly different stuff. I'm using purpley red in this one, to see how that came out. So, oh yeah, I also used some of this, which is the gold foil. It's a real pain in the butt to get out of the pot because it's super sticky to absolutely everything, but it gives nice effects in there. So let's just see if we can separate these two, being careful not to get the actual mould. So this particular mould here, this one here, is made by Craft and Game. The same as the little wee mould that I just did. That's also a Craft and Game mould. Oh gosh, this resin's really tough. Craft and Game are on Etsy. They are a little bit slow responding. But they do have a sale on right now, I did see. So you can hop on over there, maybe get yourself a bargain. If you're prepared to wait a while to receive your items. As I say, their customer service and their shipping's a little bit on the slow side, but I know they've had some supplier issues last year for obtaining their stuff for their moulds. But their moulds are pretty good. Personally, my preference now is this one, which is the Druidic Dice one that I have. I much prefer that one. But they, you know, they give nice chonks, these two. I think this mould was about £50, so I think it's pretty good value, to be honest. I mean, how do you work out, you know, besides the time or whatever? And there's no bubbles or anything in there. It is pretty much a perfect mould. There's just a little blip at the top, but that's actually me demoulding things that kind of does that. So here we have the Waspy Bumblebee, I don't know, dice. There's a cool swirl happening in there. So part of it, obviously, as you can see, is clear. The black up here seems much denser. It turns to sort of grey down here, where it's obviously mixing with the yellow. But actually, I think it's worked pretty well, hopefully. It's actually quite nice in a weird way, although it does remind me of wasps. Maybe for wasp attack moments, that would be the perfect dice to use. And the swirls and things, again, this is because I'm putting clear resin first. Then I put yellow down one side, and then I put black down the other for them to kind of swirl around together. You know, as they settle, you can see where I've poured from this direction, poured yellow in this side, then black, and then I poured a little bit of black this way, so that it kind of mixed around this side, and then you've got quite a lot of clear around this side. We can always pour colours, you know, sort of in other ways, but it's kind of hard to see with the dice faces, but it's quite nice. It's quite nice. I'm not disrespecting the dice. Quite like the dice. Now this one here, because you have two slots, if you don't fill the other mould, it could get a bit iffy in this mould, so I needed to do another one. So this is the one that's using this Chameleon powder, which is red and green at the same time. Camera does kind of pick it up there. You can see it's very green, but it's also red, but it's green, it's red. Oh, what colour is it? And in here there is some gold flakes, which probably all stuck, yep, mostly to one end. Even though I was pushing them down, they were just like, nope, I want to float. So there's a few bits down here, and where that glitter has come in this side, that looks really cool. And then the red that I used, this, you can see here it's a bit darker around this way, so I didn't pour the whole thing red and then do different colours. There's also a tiny tad of yellow just in here because we had a bit of yellow left over, so I just stuck it in here. There's a clear bit, sort of, it's hard to catch it on there. There we go. You can kind of see, like here, there is a clear bit sort of through. So that's pretty nice. It looks pretty cool. Quite happy with that. We'll pop those out to one side. And then the last bit, I don't know what I like about this avocado colour. It's a bit of a dirty green, but it does give a sort of mossy, foresty style of dice when you do them. I also put gold flakes in here as well. Now, this mould here, this is the Druidic Dice one. This is the one where you have 2 D20s and you have the Crystal D4. And the Crystal D4 I love. Waiting for, with my masters, I'm waiting for my seller to send me my Crystal D4 as part of my set. It ran out of resin, so that's fine. We should get that soon. And then we'll get that one polished up nicely, and we can hopefully, fingers crossed, create our own mould. Now, I bought a bit of pipe, a shortish bit of pipe from old Amazon, and I'm planning to use that with tape on the bottom, and I've got a mat and stuff, so I'm planning to use those to create my dice mould. Now, I've seen like a bunch of videos. Dice Witchery has some really good videos on mould creation. I've watched Robinator, if that's how you say his name. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. And then I watched Garage Quest, which is a really cool video on YouTube. and she talks a lot about polishing, sanding dice and how to do those. Now I would love to, as Tane said, do the whole lot by hand. As you can see, I have hand problems, so you know, like picking things up like cups and glasses and stuff is already an issue without polishing, sanding dice. So it is taking a long time, even with the pottery wheel, which I'm using for the first few Zona papers, just to get through some of the bits without me having to do too much of this, but actually holding the dice like this. This is part of the problem because the grip width. So I am managing that myself. It's tricky though. It's going to take a while. The masters are going to take a while. But I have all the stuff now to create my molds as soon as I am ready to. And I found some cool boxes and stuff to keep the masters in. So they are nice and separate from other stuff and they're not going to get messed up at all. So that's coming. But in the meantime, we have these. I put some gold flakes in here with just a teensiest bit of glitz, which you can, yeah, you can kind of see there through that one. And then the gold flakes in here as well with that nice grit. You see it looks different in the dice to how it looks in the packet. So it's how, I think it's definitely different how you use it. With the gold in here, I've made these kind of greeny ones and used sort of multicolored flakes, but actually I quite like it with the gold. These are meant to be like mossy kind of stone kind of dice without using grey. I didn't want to use grey in there. So there's clear, and then I really like the fact that there's this like clear band through here as well, and that's the little crystal D4. So that one face is the face that needs the work on it. But you can kind of see, oh, there we go, the gold flake in one end. Oh, there we go. Well, I didn't drop on the table this time. Gold flake in one end, and then we've got that kind of green just sort of spreading itself down throughout the dice. I quite like this set. This is kind of nice. I'm not sure what colour I'm going to ink them in. Maybe a lighter green. But yeah, we will see. Perhaps give a progress update in the next video. But for now, these are the bits and pieces we've made. As I say, if anyone knows what they're doing, how to put this together, I'd appreciate it, because yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing with this. Maybe I should have poured more on top of here. I'm not too sure. But anyway, yeah, if you know how to use that, let me know. In the meantime, I'll leave you some links to Resin Art Supplies. The powders were just Amazon, and the dice molds that I've been using, I'll leave you a link to them. And the Supplies Studio, I use a lot of their stuff. Go check them out. They got so much cool stuff, and they're constantly adding new stuff all the time. I definitely recommend you take a look at them. And then these little molds over here, got quite a lot of these, and these little ones here. I think these are from the Mouldy Tombstone, if I recall correctly. They have quite a lot of stuff as well, and definitely worth checking out on Etsy. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you guys have all had a lovely new year and you're staying safe. Please, please, please give your video a like. Follow if you want to. Hit the bell if you want to get notifications when I ramble more about demolding dice and other cool things like this. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.